Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel where skincare is all about progression over perfection because perfection doesn't exist. And welcome to another When Beauty Turns Ugly. It's taken a while to get this one out because I kept ordering products from the brand we're going to talk about today, one of the brands we're going to talk about, but Beauty Bay seem to be having some issues with their delivery system at the moment, so I had to cancel 2 things and it delayed me by a month, so we won't be doing that today. But today we're going to be focusing on the eye area, like a really sensitive area where you really don't want anything going wrong. So whilst I'm telling today's stories and using one of the products we're going to be talking about, I'll be sharing some of my favorite eye-based eye products just randomly throughout. I don't know. This wasn't the initial plan, okay? But everything is in chapters below. So if you do wish to skip over the random eye product favorites of mine and get on with the story, you can do that down below. Before I start today's topic, please remember that this video is for entertainment purposes only. I don't really understand the law, so this is all based on my own research and my friend and assistant's research as well. So take everything as entertainment value and factor only. And for legal reasons, everything in this video is my opinion only for legal reasons, and that's fine. You can't take me to court. I don't know. Maybe you can, I don't know. It's just funsies. It's fine, calm down. So first on today's agenda is the eye cream that burnt a hole through a man's eye. It's it makes my eyes water just thinking about it. Eye creams are a bit of a controversial topic within the skincare community because a lot of people think they're not worth it, they're just overpriced moisturizers, and a lot of people say they're not, and both are kind of true, whilst cosmetic chemists who actually formulate these products say they're not just overpriced moisturizers, we promise you. But the general idea is that eye creams have more dedicated ingredients for under the eyes that work specifically for this thinner layer of skin and around the top. These ingredients tend to be a little bit pricier, meaning the price of the product obviously goes up, often leading to that eye cream costing the same, if not more, than a tub of your everyday moisturizer. Now imagine if one of these eye creams with all these fancy ingredients actually caused so much irritation under your eye that it just burnt a massive fucking hole in your face. It's not funny, I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny, it's horrible. I've already explained, but I laugh when I get nervous or angry or scared, okay? This eye cream burnt a hole through someone's skin into the eye, supposedly, apparently. Well, that is exactly what happened to one of today's victims when he bought an eye cream from Sephora from the brand Peter Thomas Roth. Before we talk about the brand, I just want to show you my favorite under eye combination, speaking of eye creams, and that is the Cosrx Advanced Snail Peptide Eye Cream. This just hydrates, it moisturizes, keeps my under eyes looking smooth, and I don't get those chickeny kind of skin under my eyes. Teamed with Dew Skin Forever Eye Mask. This is the tattoo version. Team these two together, your under eyes just feel plumper, they look brighter. I've actually already used it today, and I completely forgot I was filming this video, so I'm just going to kind of like demo it while we talk about this brand. So the idea is that you put on your favorite eye cream, moisturizer, serum, whatever under your eye. Don't rub it in fully, leave it a little bit tacky, then stick the Forever Eye Mask on. You just leave it really for however long you want. I find about 15 minutes to half an hour is preferable for me to see an obvious difference. So Peter Thomas Roth is actually a brand founded on the CEO's own skincare concerns from when he was younger, before he founded the brand. Mainly acne and signs of aging, direct quote, were his areas of concern, and eventually turned into protecting from sun damage as well. Peter, Mr. Roth, actually grew up around skincare. His family owned 2 very popular spa resorts, shall I say, both based in Hungary. And actually you can see that represented in the Peter Thomas Roth brand. It kind of focuses around natural remedies along with science, very representative of what would have been done in the spas. In his family spas. You know, things like thermal springs and mud baths. Peter Thomas Roth is, I would say, actually a really well-respected brand with some super iconic products. One recently going very viral, the Instant Firm X Eye Temporary Eye Tightener, which went insanely viral last year due to this video. In fact, this product works so well that people didn't know whether it was real or not. People thought it was a filter, some like elaborate hoax made up by the brand, but this is real. Eye creams like this have existed for a very long time. It's basically got a temporary tightening ingredient in that just really tightens up that skin. Once you wash the product off, it's gone. It's very temporary. But not everyone has such amazing experiences with this brand. It's much 2017, the UK has started Brexit negotiations, and SpaceX did something with a rocket or something. I don't know. I didn't understand what they were doing. This is also the month that Rolando Grulon of New York City walked into his local Sephora and picked up this Peter Thomas Roth laser-free eye serum. I will add actually the now discontinued laser-free eye serum. I found it very hard to find the details for this product online, but Beauty Bay actually stocked it and they described the product as follows. A treatment that will dramatically reduce the signs of aging around the eyes. This powerful laser-free resurfacing eye serum will ensure that skin appears regenerated, repaired, and renewed. Containing ingredients such as 43% dragon's blood, a red resin drawn from the Amazon's Croton Leclia tree, biopeptides, and fruit extracts, you'll see astonishing results in just 4 weeks of use. Bold claims, I must say. Very bold claims there. But Rolando used the product as recommended. He applied the product around the eye area and the upper lid twice a day, daily. However, after only 3 uses of this product, he started to notice small red bumps around his eye, exactly where the product was applied. These bumps were getting worse and worse and worse. Red bumps are a common sign of allergic reaction or general irritation. However, one of these red bumps, according to Rolando, became a hole. A hole in this guy's face near his eye, which along with red bumps apparently still remains to this day. There is no documented proof of this, and I must say I actually paid to read legal documents for these videos, and I must say we've not found a single bit of evidence actually showing this damage under the eyes. There were no pictures or doctor's reports included in the evidence, so I photoshopped what I thought it might look like this maybe, I don't know. So he thought this is the eye cream, it's the Peter Thomas Roth eye cream that did this to my face. That's when Rolando actually reached out to attorney Dana Stryker, based in the Bronx, New York, to represent him, to take Peter Thomas Roth and Sephora to court. Sephora have been through it, haven't they? There's like we could go down a whole rabbit hole with Sephora and their lawsuits. They were basically saying, Sephora, you are guilty for allowing this product to be sold on your shelves. And Peter Thomas Roth were guilty for creating this travesty of a burning face product in the first place. They actually say in the lawsuit here that the products were so toxic, noxious, and dangerous that it severely and permanently injured and disabled the plaintiff, accusing Sephora and Peter Thomas Roth of malice, oppression, and even fraud. They go on to say that because of this toxic eye cream, Rolando not only sustained injuries to his face, but suffered serious and permanent injuries to his health, strength, and severe shock to her nervous system, they say. But I think they made a mistake there because they say he through the rest of the lawsuit. And as a result of all of the above, the plaintiff was asking for damages to be paid in the sum of $500,000. That's a lot, but to be fair, if a product burned a hole through my skin, first of all, I would have stopped using it immediately, but if a product had burnt a hole through my skin, yes, I would want a compensation to that extent. I'd go for more. This is my job. I can't have a hole in my face. I would go for more than that. I don't know how law works, but I'll probably just get some vouchers. But wait, okay, so this product burnt a hole in this guy's face. So what on earth was in this product? What can make it so toxic and dangerous in the words of the lawsuit? Well, looking at the ingredients, I couldn't figure it out. Sure, there are some known irritants, but burning a hole through someone's face? I don't see how that would work. But as we know, we can't tell a lot just from reading the ingredient list. There's a whole, people are cosmetic chemists for a reason because they need to understand this stuff. So I reached out to Esther, who if you watch this channel a lot, you'll be familiar with. She is a cosmetic chemist, formulator. I reached out to her and I was like, Esther, what can you look through these ingredients for me? And this lawsuit, I sent her everything we had and be like, could you explain what has happened here? What on earth is going on? And here we have her result. There's a lot here, but it's important to listen to. Esther says, based on the information provided from both parties, I would have to side with Peter Thomas Roth and Sephora. While the plaintiff claims that he used the product per its instructions, it seems that they did not patch test the product, and this reaction could have been easily prevented. Patch testing involves applying a small amount of product to an area such as your inner arm, neck, or jawline and observing if any adverse reactions are to occur within 24 to 72 hours. When introducing a new product, it is critical to know if that product may potentially give you an adverse reaction, which is why patch testing is recommended. It seems to me that the client didn't bother to patch test at all, and while continually applying the product daily, they unknowingly had an adverse reaction to the eye cream. In addition, adverse reactions can occur quick or can be delayed, but it sounds sounds like this reaction occurred almost immediately, which begs to question why they continued to apply the product. Maybe they didn't notice it until several days later. The only positive thing I would say that the plaintiff did was ceasing usage when he noticed the reaction was occurring. However, there is a common misconception that when a consumer has a reaction to a product, that deems the product unsafe. That is basically false. Sometimes you can have a reaction to a product and that is okay. Everyone's skin will essentially react differently. Additionally, when it comes to eye products, brands will conduct ocular irritation tests. There are typically three testing methodologies that brands will choose from. And I'll highlight them here because I can't pronounce any of that. I tried. While they have their advantages, they also do have some limitations. But overall, these are the best tests that brands can utilize to understand if personal care products, even facial skincare products, can migrate and cause potential irritation to the eyes. Just like our skin, the eyes are also an organ and the eye area is very delicate. I have absolutely no doubt that PTR conducted safety testing on these products before releasing them onto the market. Talking about the ingredients, Esther goes on to say that there is nothing in particular to her that stands out as being a common irritant for skin. There are peptides which are commonly used in eye creams, including this one here. Humectants, emollients, film formers like dimethicone, which also help with slip and let the formula glide better. Ingredients like mica and caffeine, which help refract light and make the eye look instantly brighter. Amino acids, plant extracts, and the list goes on. This is what I would deem a standard eye product. Albeit the ingredient list is ridiculously long. It was stupid. It's so long. My only stipulation, she goes on to say, is that because the ingredient list is so long, it's harder to pinpoint which ingredient or combination of ingredients could have caused the reaction. Also, the entire formula could have also caused a reaction rather than individual ingredients or a combination of certain ingredients. This also makes me question if the plaintiff had an unknown allergy and if they consulted a dermatologist or an allergist. Overall, I feel like there are many holes in the claims for the plaintiff, and I would attribute this unfortunate situation to the plaintiff being negligent. She actually emailed me a couple days later just adding a few bits on, saying in addition to brands doing their set of testing, raw material suppliers, i.e. the ingredients or blends of ingredients that brands will use to formulate finished goods, will also do their own set of testing such as efficacy and safety testing, etc. This helps brands determine the usage level to use certain ingredients, the recommended dosages to which ingredients are considered safe, the concentrations on which a brand has done clinical trials, and more. And I think that's important to note as well, because when we've been talking about allergic reactions and people getting irritated by some products in previous videos, we've not really considered the sourcing of the ingredients. So it's good to know that there are tests in place, safety tests in place, all through the process of making this final product. So Esther basically says, there's nothing wrong here, really. It's just an allergic reaction or an irritation to this product. And like she said, there's nothing on Rolando's side here, I have to be honest. I mean, honestly, he might have just picked at his skin, and a hole burning through his skin is just a gross exaggeration. Like we said, there's no pictures here. There's nothing. There's not a dermatology report. There's not a specialist report. There's not a doctor's report. There's no pictures. There's nothing. So what did Peter Thomas Roth have to say about this? These are some serious allegations. Well, they were basically like, no, our product didn't do this. Like, this whole lawsuit is absolute trash. They didn't say that, my words. And if it did do this, it's user error and it's your fault. So looking at what they had to say, officially and legally, they accused Rolando of negligence, superseding negligence, meaning it was the user's fault, not Sephora or Peter Thomas Roth. And also said that the plaintiff, Rolando, did absolutely nothing to diminish or lessen the injuries, damages, and or disabilities alleged in the complaint. And from what we know, he didn't contact the brand, he didn't seek any specialist or medical advice, which is something we often see a plaintiff in this kind of situation do, seeking that medical advice, stopping using the product, and then taking legal matters into hand. What? Yeah. And the case is still pending. Right, let's remove these. Sometimes you can actually see, I don't know if you can see, like a really faint line where my skin has just like transformed. You can't see, I've already done it. I do have videos where you can see the difference like with this, but they just feel so much more alive as well. You may have noticed I'm wearing coloured contacts. Coloured contacts are something I used to wear all the time, especially in my like university days when I first got into K-pop. And these ones in particular are from the MTPR, I can't remember how to pronounce that, with BTS collaboration. But I like them. I just like how you can change your eye colour depending on your outfit as well, or how you're feeling that day. There's a brand that I've discovered more recently who I absolutely love, and these are Moody. They do like amazing one day wear, like a month wear ones, and they have like designs that I've never seen before. before. My favorite ones from the brand so far are these ones. These are the Moody Cosmo Weightless Cosmo Disc. Wait, what? I'll put them here. But these are literally just gold flecks throughout the eye, and they're so subtle but so nice. They just give you like a little sparkle in the eyes. The Moody lenses, compared to any other brand I've ever used, are so comfortable. They're so soft. You don't feel them at all. There's none of that kind of like, when you first put them in. And they come with the usual tools to help you apply them. I just love them. I love the range that they offer. I like the different styles as well. I don't even know what ones these are. I just bought them because the packaging looked good. Let's move on to our next case, where a certain makeup brand was accused of selling eyeshadows, knowing that the ingredients were not safe for usage around the eyes. May the 30th, 2019, the measles is back in the United States, and Huda Beauty launched their Neon Obsessions palettes, although I'm not sure they were referred to as palettes by the brand, but we'll come to that. These 3 neon palettes served as a neon take, a brighter take, on the very popular Huda Beauty Obsessions palettes. Pre-launch, Huda Kattan, then CEO of Huda Beauty, spoke to a few online publications. She was on a bit of a PR trip to launch her new Neon Obsessions palettes. Most notably, she spoke to Allure, talking about how she likes to create all these amazing, punchy, bright, neon eye designs and looks, using these palettes and the best ways to apply them to your eyes. The visuals for the launch are stunning, like they're stunning if you look at them. And upon launch, she had all the biggest beauty gurus talking about these palettes. However, shortly after this launch, a now deleted TikTok video from a 17-year-old who goes by the name of Zarina on TikTok went viral, leading to some questions surrounding Huda Beauty's latest launch. Watch this.
Okay, so hi everyone. You're probably wondering, Zarina, why do your eyes look like this? Well, you see, I was doing a little makeup, and let me give you all the tea on that. Okay, so I also turned off the beauty filter. So this is me without the beauty filter. I have acne scars and stuff, but like, look at this. Like, this is eyeshadow stain, and I've used a lot of eyeshadows in my life. Like, this is just some of my eyeshadows, like not even like the full amount I have. And personally, I'm disowning Huda Beauty from the whole makeup community right now. Let me give you all the tea. So this is her neon palette. It's the pink one. But if you turn it over, hold on. This is the back label that I'm peeling off. And look, not intended for the eye area. Are you freaking kidding me? It's an eyeshadow palette. And the fact that she tried to hide it, like she hid it behind the other label. Look at my eyes. Like, look at this. Cancel her.
Yes, yes, you heard that right. This palette, which was advertised heavily to be used around the eyes pre-launch, is not for use around the eye area. In fact, these palettes contained ingredients that were not FDA approved for use around the eyes because they could cause irritation and staining. Look, I have one. Let's peel off the back and see. I'm always really bad at these. And see if we can find the disclaimer. You can see there's like a tiny symbol telling you to peel off the back. Oh, this is hard work. That writing's so small. Not intended for the eye area. And that's it. In loads of different languages. That's literally it. That's all it says. I don't know if you're going to be able to see that. Not intended for the eye area. But why, like, surely you can't make an eyeshadow palette that you can't actually use around your eyes and then legally sell that, right? Correct, which is why the Neon Obsession palette is a pressed pigment palette. If you are well versed within the makeup industry, watch a lot of beauty gurus, makeup people, you know about this by now, you know how this works, right? The main difference between an eyeshadow palette and a pressed pigment palette is that the eyeshadow palettes have safe to use and FDA approved pigments for use around the eyes, whilst pressed pigment palettes, they don't have those pigments in. However, the majority of the non-FDA approved pigments that you find in pressed pigment palettes are absolutely fine in the rest of the world to use around your eyes. You will find those in eyeshadow palettes throughout Europe. This is actually something that so many makeup brands do. Colourpop are a very good example of brands who sell pressed pigment palettes, knowing full well that people are going to use them around the eyes because that's really what they are, is eyeshadows. As long as you clearly state that they should not be used around the eyes on your packaging, you are absolutely fine. Note clearly state. And that's why Huda Beauty got into some legal trouble here. Not only did they hide their legal disclaimer behind a barely noticeable peel away pill in tiny, tiny writing, but the whole campaign was about the eyes and these products on eyelids. Her media tour before was her talking about how to use these products on your eyes and her favourite eye looks. The lawsuit brought to Huda Beauty from plaintiff Christy Ramirez, who also bought the Neon Obsessions palette from hudabeauty.com, perfectly sums up all the mistakes and misleading marketing used to launch this Neon Obsessions pressed pigment palette, which is not safe for use around the eyes. See how easy that disclaimer was, Huda? I mentioned previously that Huda Kattan spoke to Allure about her palette, and it was this article that really came back to bite her in the arse. Like, it was all the evidence in one that anyone needed. The lawsuit filed on the 12th of May 2020 states, in an article published by Condé Nast, www.allure.com, on May the 28th, 2019, Miss Kattan encouraged consumers to use Neon Obsessions directly on their eyes. They have exact quotes here. Huda was quoted saying, "With these bright neon colours, you can't really go wrong with a simple monochromatic colour wash on the lids. One of my favourites is a super simple graphic neon liner look. I start from the inside and shape the wing as I move away from the eye." For months surrounding the launch of the Neon Obsession, defendant posted numerous videos on this webpage and official Instagram account instructing and encouraging consumers to apply Neon Obsessions directly to the eye area. At no time has defendant communicated or otherwise indicated any intended use for Neon Obsessions other than for use on the eyes and surrounding area. I mean, look at the promotional visuals and packaging, as nice as they are. Like, it's a beautiful campaign. Actually reminds me of Stacey's. I thought I saw that. So very similar. Nothing's original anymore. Everything's been done. This is an eyeshadow palette. You can't literally frame an eye with an eyeshadow look on it and be like, oh, but no, don't you, it's not for the eyes. Don't do that. The lawsuit goes on to say that before and after the product launch, defendant posted instructional videos on YouTube encouraging viewers to use Neon Obsessions in the eye area. Talking about one of the YouTube videos, promotional videos, the lawsuit says that Miss Kattan and her guests, both of whom have neon eyeshadow, discuss Neon Obsession specifically and hold the product up to the camera while Miss Kattan applies neon eyeshadow to the guest's eye area. So they've literally gone, then be like, but don't. All these videos have of course since been deleted or edited. On around May the 30th, 2019, defendant posted a video of Miss Kattan applying the neon pink version of Neon Obsessions on her own eyelids. That video has since been deleted, but we can see it here. Here we go, look at this. Until at least July the 1st, 2019, defendant's website included how to use section, which instructed consumer to apply Neon Obsessions to the inner corners of the eye and either on the eyelid or along the lower lash line. The lawsuit then finishes their misleading promotional claims by stating Miss Kattan has also publicly referred to Neon Obsessions as an eyeshadow. I mean, as a directed and intended result of the defendant's advertising, marketing, instructional videos, and public statements, consumers, including the plaintiff, purchased the Obsessions for use around the eyes. I couldn't find this example of her saying that the products are eyeshadows. It's probably being deleted, right? Now, as for that really sneaky disclaimer, let's use it. Let's use this. Let's use it and then try and remove it. So I think this is the colour that was used, right? I'm not the makeup artist twin, so do excuse me. Oh, I love it. Oh, it's so nice. This literally looks like the same colour, but look how easy it is to create a stunning look. And then I'm just going to take this glittery one here and do it over. So let's leave this eye look on for just a little bit and see if it stains. As for that sneaky disclaimer, the only disclaimer ever from this brand anywhere on anything, the lawsuit says basically that was too sneaky. Like, it was not obvious enough. It was so inadequate, like it may as well not have existed. I mean, that's definitely stained already. Of course, I'm going to take this off now. Oh my god. You may think I'm being stupid for using a product that has been known to irritate people's faces and leave pigment, but as I mentioned, in America, this is not an eyeshadow. In Europe, here in the UK, this is considered safe for an eyeshadow. Yeah, there's some stainage. Yes, there's definitely some stainage there. I mean, could I wipe this off with an oil cleanser? Probably. What's that? What's that? Oh, I mean, honestly, it looks fine to me. I only left it on for like an hour. This is only an hour later, so maybe it needs to be more. But this isn't really a new story. Red pigment, or like that whatever color pigment that is known to stain. But not all of them causes irritation in the way that this pressed pigment palette, not for use around the eyes, did for some of the plaintiffs. They go on to say that others who applied the neon obsession around their eyes as instructed and encouraged by the defendant suffered physical injuries, including, but not limited to, rashes, painful eye irritation, skin inflammations, and discolorations. Many of these symptoms are painful, embarrassing, and last for several days. Sephora also got dragged into this again for selling products under eyeshadow palettes and actually referring to them as eyeshadow palettes. And the reviews on Sephora were not good at all, with one customer review actually documenting the damage supposedly caused by this not eyeshadow palette. One thing I love to use is an eye wash. I don't use this all the time. I do think there are certain reasons why you shouldn't be using eye washes daily. For example, I go for a lot of walks. When it's windy, I could get mud in my eyes, bits, I get very tired eyes. I love using an eye wash. This is the Bee Duck Eye Wash Care. Isn't this cute? Because they're like a little duck, and then you get one of these things, and this is like a suction cup that kind of like sticks to your eye. Oh, it does, I swear. It does, I promise you. Like that. You put that in there, then I personally just like to stick this on my eye, do this, and kind of go like that. And it really, really does help kind of just like relieve overly stressed and tired eyes, helps clear them out. So what did Huda Beauty actually have to say about this? Well, they did release a statement in July 2019. They actually released a statement they released a statement via Teen Vogue in an article all about the controversy surrounding this particular palette, which is weird. That's a really weird move to make. But Huda Beauty said at Huda Beauty, it's so important for us to listen to our community, and we appreciate all of your feedback and questions. We wanted to talk a little about the pigments in our Neon Obsessions pigment palettes and whether or not you can use them around the eyes. Several brands, including Huda Beauty, have dealt with the US specific restrictions and the confusion it can create. In this case, it's only the US that some pigments used in these palettes are not yet FDA approved for use around the eyes. This is why in the US they are categorized as multi-pigment palettes. Everywhere else in the world, these pigments are approved for use around the eyes and are categorized as eyeshadows. Think about this statement. Think about this statement for a minute. What have they just done? What have they just done? So first of all, they released a statement through Teen Vogue. Weird. Basically, this statement did way more harm than it did good, because what they're doing here is admitting to trying to mislead and evade the US law. It's like saying, like, we know this palette going by the FDA is not for use around the eyes, but like, shh. In other countries you can use it, so, just go ahead. They basically admitted to everything they're being accused of. Purposely misleading, purposely tricking, and like suggesting that you could use this around the eyes, even though the law states in the country where this was being sold that you cannot use this product or sell this product as an eye product. This is still an ongoing case. There has, however, been a proposed settlement that has been posted. The settlement basically says that whilst Huda Beauty denies any wrongdoing and asserts that the products are safe and effective, and that the court has not decided whether Huda Beauty did anything wrong, the parties agreed to the proposed settlement to resolve the lawsuit in order to avoid the expenses and uncertainties of continuing the lawsuit. Any customers who bought this not eyeshadow palette, may be eligible for a cash refund of $87, and there will be a final hearing on March 21st of this year, 2022. This is a brand, right? Right. That as of this lawsuit was estimated to be worth $1.2 billion in 2017. Huda Kattan, who, as much as I dislike the misinformation she often posts in her content, she really is an inspiration. She really is one of the first influencers to really go from influencer to a standalone business and do it so successfully. She is the blueprint for what you do after being an influencer for a lot of people. This brand has been selling cosmetics for a long, long time. They should know better than this. They should know that this was such a stupid mistake to make and really easily avoidable. As I said, makeup brands sell pressed pigment palettes all the time that people go ahead and use as eyeshadows. No, this wasn't a mistake. This was purposely deceptive. Doing something so purposely deceptive is really annoying. Morphe do this, Colourpop do it, Urban Decay do this, and they still sell in large numbers. There was no need to be so deceptive throughout the marketing and the disclaimer like that. I completely get the FDA thing. I completely get it. There are some amazing sunscreen filters in sunscreens that are used in South Korea and even Europe that the FDA won't allow because really, they're behind when it comes to innovation. You know, ingredients that the rest of the world are using successfully and safely, but that doesn't mean you can just be like, oh, it's fine, the rest of the world do it. We'll do it here. They have all the right people, all the right resources, and the money, a lot of money, to make sure they're playing by the law and playing by the rules. But maybe that has something to do with it. Maybe they're fine to just throw money at whatever legal issues may have arise from this. As of today, I couldn't find the palette on any Huda website or any sites. I could find it on other retailers, but I wasn't sure that they were official retailers. And I actually don't know if they have discontinued it or not. There are so many stories like what we've heard today. There's a whole eye cream brand that deserves its own video. Let me know if you tried any of these products down below and what you think of these cases. I think they're both pretty much as they seem, you know, user area and deceptive marketing. Let me know what you think. You can watch the rest of the series here, some general light entertainment here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you over there.